Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us in the Quran, Fattakullah, you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. And let every soul look forward, and let every soul look to what you have sent forward for tomorrow, to what you have prepared for tomorrow. That is on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the hereafter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us this beautiful reminder in the Quran. And this is a reminder that you and I, time and time again, we have heard, we've recited it. But yet, how many of us can say that Alhamdulillah, my book of deeds, Alhamdulillah, what I've sent forth for tomorrow, it is good. In fact, we should be reminded, as Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, by this reminder, we should be reminded that none of our actions will be sufficient for us. So which means we cannot stop doing our good actions up until our last breath. Even to that point of our last breath on the face of this earth, we shouldn't stop doing our good deeds. The hadith Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam reminds us, لا يدخل أحدكم الجنة بسبب عمله أو كما قال, that not a single one of you, no one will be able to enter into Jannah due to his actions, due to the good deeds that he done. This reminder of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is something very strong, my respected gathering, that should show us and tells us and remind us over and over again that our action that we do, it is never sufficient. And since it is never sufficient, from when we start having aql and sense in our mind, when we start having our intellect to differentiate between good and wrong, between good and bad, right and wrong, we shall never cease from doing good deeds. Because shaitan, he doesn't stop even until you die in bed, he doesn't stop. He makes effort for a person until he's dying in bed. Before that breath leaves that person's body, shaitan even attempt to make that person turn to kufr. So our deeds is never sufficient. But working towards that last day of our life, which we know is inevitable. We don't know the time, we don't know the date, but we know it is inevitable. That is why we should always be prepared with our a'mal that we're doing, our actions that we're doing, that if death was to come to us at any moment, at any given time, we will never be afraid to say that, oh, I was not ready to go. Let us not be from those of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala remind the Quran about the disbelievers, that when they will be taken to task on the day of judgment, what they will say? That, oh Allah, return us back on the face of the earth, na'mal salihah. We will do righteous deeds then, when it is too late. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has reminded us as believers, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. This reminder Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not just say Ya ayyuhan nas, but He's reminding the believers that you and I who take this oath of Iman, who take the testimony of acknowledging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as our Rabb, let us make that Iman firm. Ittaqullah, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The very first Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us. Another part of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we have heard it time and time again in many khutbah, Ittaqullah haqqa tuqatihi wa la tamutunna illa wa antum muslimun. That how do you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as it ought to be fear? And how do you do that fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam advised Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, اعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. That you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if you see Him. And if you don't see Him, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees you. This is how we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our conscience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always aware. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows each and every single act of us. Whether it is a hidden thought in our heart or it is something verbally in our tongue, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows it all. So when we have that conscience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ought to be fair. It makes our passage of life very easy. Why would Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell us that you fear Allah and وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, and die not except as Muslims, submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Because it is a fact Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us that we can testify, we can acknowledge Allah as our Rabb, but yet we will not be wholehearted. We will not be submissive wholeheartedly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How many of us today, I'm not pointing fingers, but it's a question, a rhetorical question we ask ourselves. How many of us today can say that yes, after testifying my belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I have fulfilled each and every single command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without a doubt. I have even done voluntary action for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can make up for my missed action of my fara'id or my compulsory action. How many of us can say with all our fara'id salah we pray 5 times a day, 7 days a week, 365 days every year, is say that each and every one of our salah is accepted? We cannot tell anyone. No one can say that. No one can even say from last year 2020 which one of our salah was accepted on such and such day. We don't know. That is why it should never be sufficient for whatever action we do. Not until our dying bed, my respected gathering. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلْتَنْظُرْ نَفْسٌ مَا قَدَّمَتْ لِغَدٍ. And let every soul look, let every soul see what he is sent forth for tomorrow. What action he has done, what action he is carrying out to send forth for himself. And that action should be something that is non-stoppable. It should never stop within our lifetime. You ask someone who's working, if it was not for bad health, because whether you reach old age at the time of pension, it's either bad health, because I've known many brothers who were past 75 and they're still working until today, because they have good health, alhamdulillah, and Allah bless them, continue bless them with good health and strength. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us all with good health and strength. Ameen. So those brothers at that age, they're still working. So I'm pretty sure most of the humankind, if they can work even beyond their pension age, once they have good health and wealth, they will do it. Because why? They know they're working for something. They see the result of it. The result of what we're working for, we don't see. Not in this world for sure, but we only will see it on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah. So that is why we don't have that certainty. When we have a certainty, we are working for something and we continue working. Whether we have to work 12 hours, 14 hours of the day, overtime, we will work because we see the success. How much more should we work for something we are not seeing it? We are not seeing the result right away in front of our eyes. To make that conviction in our heart, to make our heart soothing, to make our heart calm and peace and content that we know we have done sufficient. So my respected gathering, my advice is that let us continue doing good deeds. We know we are coming towards days closing in on Ramadan. It is that blessed time of the year, which we know every humankind heart changes at that time. Our hearts become more soft. But let it not just be that we wait for that 1 month of the entire year. Let us start making those preparations from now. Our ibadat, let us start increasing our ibadat from now. Our voluntary action, our tilawat of Quran. It should be something that we only do for Ramadan, but we should start increasing it from now. Build ourselves up. A person wanted to run a marathon, he will start warming up before. A person goes to the gym, he doesn't go and start lifting, bench pressing 250, 500 pounds. He warms up before. Gets himself into the groove. Let us continue making effort that we can attain the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be able to enter into Jannah. As the hadith I mentioned, it is not our action that will enter us into Jannah. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what will make a person enter into Jannah. And we all need the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To draw the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to carry out our good actions. Let us not be deceived by this world. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam reminds us of this world. It is lustful, it is beautiful, it is sweet, it will distract us. You let an animal loose in the pasture when it's green, he will go all over the place. He will not listen to his master, to his shepherd. You give a child a candy, and you don't want them, they will eat it out even though you tell them to only eat half. The dunya is like that. It is deceiving. Once you get a bite of it, you will not be able to leave it. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam reminded us that this dunya, it is like that. It is like a sight of sweets, and it is like a sight of green luster, lustful lands. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed you and I onto the face of the earth so that He can see our action that we do. He can see our a'mal that we are carrying out. And based on our a'mal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge us. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all that we can continue doing a'mal salih. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our good actions that we are doing, and we do all action only for His pleasure, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us that when we die and we leave this world, we die in a state of iman. We die in a state when we are submissive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the kalima on our lips. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us that when we stand in the day of judgment, He give us an easy reckoning and make us enter Jannah with ease, inshallah. Ameen.